What's going on, guys? CTG and Matt back. MLB Playoffs, MLB Postseason, whatever you call it, are set for the year. Here's the bracket right in front of you on your screen. We have Cleveland versus Detroit, Boston versus New York. This is just a wild card round. Cubs, Padres, and Dodgers versus Reds. I'm going to do predictions as well as I want to talk about awards first. I actually want to do awards and tell you what I think the awards should be because I feel like most of them are already kind of drawn out and we know who's going to win it already. We'll go quicker through it. AL MVP, well, I think it should be Aaron Judge. I think it should genuinely be Aaron Judge. I think they'll give it to Cal Raleigh. I mean, a historic switch hitting season and a historic catching season is definitely not something to scoff at. I think Cal Raleigh's an incredible player. Do I think he is the MVP? No. But do I think that he had the best season from a position of value that doesn't often get this type of value out of it? Also, yes. I'd rather have a World Series as a Yankees fan anyways. I'm not going to bitch and moan if they give it to a catcher who hit 60 tanks and played good enough defense. NL MVP Shohei Ohtani. There wasn't really much competition. AL Cy Young is Tarek Skubal, even though David Fry's face may disagree with that. I probably shouldn't joke about that, but he's okay. He's all right. And NL Cy Young should be Paul Skeens. Jesus Christ. Paul Skeens is going to win NL Cy Young. I got to throw credit to Christopher Sanchez for putting up a damn good fight. The guy's got a sub I think it's below 2.5 ERA and like close to 200 innings. Chris Sanchez has had a terrific season. He deserves some love and respect, even though he's not going to win the Cy, because Paul Skeens has a sub 2 ERA. AL Rookie of the Year, Nick Kurtz. It would have been Jacob Wilson if Wilson played the full season healthy, but I think Kurtz is, he came on so strong in the second half of the season. I don't know how else to explain it besides this guy exploded. I think he's got like 87 RBIs, 35, 38 homers, somewhere in the ballpark, high 30s homers, and he came up later in the year, I think like June, maybe, yeah, somewhere around there. Imagine if he played a full season, the guy would have hit 40 in his rookie season. NL Rookie of the Year, I still think should be Drake Baldwin. He had a really good year for a down Braves team. He was the best catcher on the roster. Yes, I believe he was better than Sean Murphy this season, and I don't even think that's a hot take. I think Drake Baldwin has a bright future. He had a power surge to end the season, and I really like to see that. Manager of the Year award, I guess would have to go to John Schneider. I didn't really predict the Blue Jays to be the 1 seed. I think they exceeded my expectations, so that's who I would give my vote to. Even though the Blue Jays had a really good year, and you can argue the Mariners because the Astros were in their division, and their division seemed a little bit more murky. I don't know. You can give it to either one. And then the NL Manager of the Year. NL Manager of the Year is Tito Frank. I mean, for willing the Reds to the playoffs, Terry Francona. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who NL Manager of the Year should go to. Probably Pat. Pocket Pancake Pat Murphy, the legend. If they could get to at least a CS, please Brewers, get to the CS. It would hurt my chest to watch this team for I watched at least 60 Brewers games this year. It would hurt a lot to have watched them all season, get this lead in their division, play such clean baseball. And if they do the Brewers thing where they just lose in the DS, I'm going to be a little bit infuriated, quite frankly. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit mad. I'm pretty sure Pat won it last year, so would they give it to him again? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments who NL Manager of the Year should be. You could argue Terry Francona, but, bro, the Reds were so mid. I mean, they tripped and fell into the playoffs because the Mets ran headfirst into a brick wall with no helmet on. And then if you care about the Hank Aaron Award, that should be Aaron Judge. So that's pretty cool. All right, now we can go into the playoff bracket. I'm okay with talking about the playoffs and my predictions now. A couple of my predictions I did get right in the last video I did covering the season. I said that the Blue Jays were going to win the division and there wasn't really even going to be a controversy or anything behind it. It got close, don't get me wrong, but they managed to pull out a sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays. Shout out to Bob Seymour. I think I made him mad on Twitter the other day. Sorry, Bob Seymour. You're a legend in my heart. You did pretty well. It was Ian Seymour, the other Seymour, who blew Game 3 of that series. I think he needs to see more wiener. My other prediction I had, Yankees were going to stay in the top wild card. They did. I said Detroit, I still think could salvage the division, I believe. I may have said that. I may not have said that. I don't know. I'm quoting ghosts. I believed that Detroit could hold on. They didn't. They played maybe the worst 3-game series I've ever witnessed against Cleveland, where they shit the bed so hard. I think it was Game 1 where they blew the save, and I think it was Will Vest that blew the save. That might have been the series before. Either way, it just felt like everything went wrong for the Tigers down the stretch. I'll give credit where it's due for Cleveland. Their pitching really, really came through down the stretch. Their bullpen was just unhittable for the most part, and it made it, kind of a pitcher's matchup, and that's not what the Tigers want to play, especially with their starters being horrific. No offense to Chuck Morton or other guys like that, but it was literally just Tarek Skubal. There's no one else to say it. The Tigers' rotation was one guy down the stretch, and you're not going to win like that. Cleveland also small-balled the hell out of them if you watch that series. I mean, they scored 3 runs in an inning, and I don't think a single ball left the infield was the stat. That was game 2 of their series against Detroit. And then Detroit goes into Boston, and I'm pretty sure they blew a save to the Red Sox. They were up 3-2 late and blew that. They limped into the playoffs. I think Cleveland is probably going to win. I think Detroit has so much talent, but Wenzel Perez has been horrific down the stretch. That's a guy I'm calling him out on his own away from the team because he's been so bad. Wenzel Perez has been pretty bad. Riley Green's been in and out. He had a big homer the other day, but cool. The whole team has just kind of fallen apart, I guess, and even the relief pitching's been bad. Tommy Kahnle was so good for the Yankees last year, and then he goes to Detroit and he's terrible. Tommy Kahnle was legit, you can't use him. He was that bad. Gleyber Torres cooled off. I just think the Tigers are cooked. They don't have the pitching to really get through it, while the Guardians are all pitching. That's how they've won every game. They don't score 6 or more runs. Their goal is to get 4 and go into the 8th inning up 4-1 or something like that, because they want to throw Eunice, they want to throw Cade Smith, they want to throw Hunter Gaddis. If you can keep them at arm's reach, you won't have to see Cade Smith, who has been filthy this year. You won't have to see Cade Smith if you take a 3-1 lead into the 8th. You won't really see Cade Smith. You have to be able to score on their starters because their bullpen is just mean. But if I had to predict Cleveland, I'll say they're just going to take 2 games and go. I don't even think it's going to be 3 games, man. Last week's series, the Tigers salvaged one, but I don't know. That kind of felt like a pity prize at that point. I just don't like the way the Tigers have been playing baseball, and so I think Cleveland's got them. I don't even think it'll go 3 games. Move on to the other AL wildcard, Yankees versus Red Sox. I really want to say the Yankees will win this series. My heart is telling me I should not pick the Yankees to win this series. My brain is telling me do not pick the Yankees to win this series. I know the Yankees have the power. They're playing at home, but I don't know, man. Their inability to perform at home against Boston has been baffling. The only time they took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox was in Fenway Park. Their power bats are waking up. Stanton's come around recently. Judge has been terrific down the stretch. Bellinger's cooled off, but Ben Rice hit 2 home runs yesterday at the time of recording. That was Sunday against Baltimore. Realistically, give me the Red Sox in 3. I think the Yankees still take a game. I'm fixing for heartbreak. I'm just kind of looking at it going, well, the Red Sox have had the Yankees number all season, it felt like. Yes, there was a 2 out of 3 down the stretch there, but Boston even got hot later in the season. So did the Yankees down the stretch. Yankees have won, I believe, 5 straight rolling into the playoffs, and Boston's not doing too bad either, taking 2 out of 3 off Toronto, and then I believe 2 out of 3 off Detroit too. I just think Boston has a more reliable 3-starter. The Yankees' 3-starter is going to be Cam Schlittler, who I love. I think that kid has a future in baseball that is beyond what we see right now. He's going to get better and better. Off season, he needs to develop a changeup, but I'm not sure if he's ready for big stage playoff game against the biggest rival for the Yankees. I just don't think he's ready for the moment yet. I love the kid, but it takes a while to get your bearings straight for the playoffs. Ask Carlos Rodon. Plus, the Red Sox just have a bunch of righties, and that scares me. Romy Gonzalez can hit left-handed pitching. Who's the other guys they got out there? Bregman hits left-handed pitching. They just got a bunch of guys that do well against left-handed pitch. Robert F. Snyder, of course, off that bench. They have righties. I don't know. I don't like the thing. I mean, Crochet starting against the Yankees too is definitely going to be tough because the Yankees are built on lefties. Realistically, Grisham, Bellinger, Rice, all these guys are left-handed. Jazz all left-handed. Yeah, I'm going to take the Red Sox in 3 and hope that that's not what happens. I think I do this a lot. It's called hedging my bet, essentially. I see my team playing, and I'm like, don't take them to win because you want to be able to go on camera and say, yeah, I was right, the Red Sox beat the Yankees. But if the Yankees beat the Red Sox, I get to be gleeful and go on camera and say, double jinxed you. Go F yourselves, Boston fans. But my official prediction is going to be Red Sox just because I feel confidence in the Yankees, don't get me wrong, but just not enough. Plus, can the Yankees defense hold straight for 3 games without pulling some jackassery and pulling off like a 4-error game? It happens so often. I don't know. I got to pick the Red Sox, even though they're fundamentally awful too. Fielding-wise, they were like top 5 in errors too, I think. They were sloppy as hell. This might be the most errors made in a wild card series. If they play like they did in the regular season, these games are going to have like 6 errors total per game. Move over to the other side. Reds, Dodgers. Give me the Dodgers. No offense to the Reds. The Reds' rotation's pretty damn good. But Lodolo went down, which is tough. I think they do have the rotation, but so do the Dodgers. Like these games, I don't think these games are going to be like ultra high scoring. I know Dodgers Stadium has played as to like one of the most hitter friendly this year, but even then the pitchers are so good in this series that I'm really just leaning on the. I don't think there's gonna be many runs scored this series. You know, you think about it, who's gonna be game 1 starter for the Dodgers? Yamamoto, Snell. I'm not sure. One of them probably, and then the Reds game 1 starter, Green or Abbott got the last regular season start, I believe, so it would be Hunter Green. Or, probably would be. With Lodolo going down, then probably be their game 3 starter. So, I actually don't know, but I think I'm going to go with the Dodgers just because their lineup's better. No offense, Reds fans, but your run contributions have been kind of in and out this season. You know, you get some good Ellie games, you get a lot of bad Ellie games, and then the rest of their lineup is just a bunch of alright hitters and Miguel Andujar. Miguel Andujar has had a terrific run with the Reds. They're going to have to re-sign him this offseason. He's been great, but I'm going to have to take the Dodgers just because their lineup depth, they have a deeper lineup. I'll say that. And then on top of that, their pitching is on par with the Reds starting pitching-wise. I know their bullpen's been terrible, but I don't know. I guess you can wipe that slate clean in the playoffs. And if their hitting can run away with it like they have been, Mookie's back, to playing great baseball again. Mookie, Freddie, Ohtani, Max Muncy. Like this team just has a bunch of hitters in it. And I feel more confident in their hitting than the Reds. Padres, Cubs, this is the hardest one to call, but I'm going to take the Cubs. Ooh, no. I forgot what's his name went down. Their pitcher that hold on. Yeah, Cade Horton fractured his ribs. So their starting pitching's rough. But the Padres starting pitching isn't good either. Like, full disclosure, in the NL, we go from great pitching matchups like, Green versus Snell or Yamamoto, and then we go over here and it's like, who's the Padres day 1 starter? Nick Pivetta? Nick Pivetta versus who? Jamison Tyone? I don't know. Who's starting game 1 for the Cubs? Let me see if I can find that. Yep, still undecided for the Cubs versus Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta's had a terrific season. But post Nick Pivetta, I mean, what do you got? No offense, but like Yu Darvish, he's been pretty bad. Michael King, I don't even know if he's healthy yet. I don't think he is. And then like, where do we go from there? Randy Vasquez hasn't been bad. Maybe they give Randy Vasquez some PT. I don't know. I stink. Maybe I do. I'm gonna have to take the Padres here. At least they have one starter that's like healthy and good. The Cubs are going to have to probably rely on, like, I don't know, Jimbo Tyone maybe. Plus, despite the Jason Adam injury to the Padres, I still like their bullpen a lot. Don't get me wrong, Danny Palencia throws heat for the Cubbies. But I think I trust the Padres bullpen more. I'll have them moving. Oh, the Giants just fired Bob Melvin. I just got that notification. So that's something. I mean, the Giants had an underwhelming season. Buster Posey comes in, and he's kind of changing everything going around there, so maybe he wants to get his own manager in there because I think Bob Melvin was hired before Buster took the job. So, he's just kind of trying to clean house and rebuild the way he wants. I respect that. But no more Giants talk. We're here for the playoffs, postseason. So that means I would have Cleveland versus Seattle in the DS, which I'm going to have to take Seattle. I like Cleveland, don't get me wrong, but Seattle's a team that can match their rotation and has a decent backup bullpen with Spire and Munoz specifically. Andres Munoz has been terrific this season. So I'm going to have to take them because they can match pitching and they can match bullpen while also having a better lineup. Naylor, Suarez. Actually, Naylor's hurt. So like Suarez, Cal, Julio, JP, Randy. You know, they got it. I think they just have a deeper lineup. No disrespect to like Gabriel Arias, but like Brian Rocchio. You know, I don't know. I don't have much confidence in the Cleveland Guardians lineup. Even though they've been playing terrific baseball, I think the run stopped in the DS. Toronto versus Boston. We literally just saw this. And I don't know. I don't know, man. I like what the Red Sox have for hitting, and I believe that they beat Toronto 2 out of 3. Like, that's something, man. You can't just not factor that in. I think I'm going to take the Sox to get to the CS, man. I don't like that sentence. I really don't like that sentence. I don't like that I said that. I think after this recording, I'm going to go rinse my mouth with Clorox because I don't want to say Boston Red Sox in the CS, but at the same time saying Blue Jays in the CS, my head hurts. I don't know. I don't want either one. Again, this is like, I don't know, the worst of two options, shiniest of two shits. I hate both of you, but I will take Toronto. Yeah. Toronto in the CS versus, who doesn't love a 1-2 ALCS? Yeah, man. I don't love a 1-2 CS, but I think that's where we're heading in the AL because it is, honestly, like this matchup in the top with Seattle versus the winner of Detroit-Cleveland, that's a second bye. Now, I don't want to get disrespectful, but like it's not good. Rather, whether the Mariners get Cleveland or Detroit, I think Seattle ends up in the CS. And if not, if they don't end up in the CS and Cal Raleigh wins MVP, they need to smelt it down and dump the boiling hot metal on him. Down in the bottom is just a mess. I mean, Boston versus New York in New York. I'm picking Boston because they beat them in New York before, and I think they can do it again. And then Toronto versus Boston. Like, I think Toronto just has a better lineup. They have more versatility as well. Like, you throw a righty out there, all right, here's Barger. You know, you want to throw a lefty out there, here's annoying-ass Ernie Clement, who can only hit left-handed pitching. Yeah, I think I just 1-2 in the ALCS. It's not what I want to see. It's probably not what the fans want to see. The fans want drama, but I think I'm still going to have to go with the Jays in the CS. Out here, Dodgers versus Phillies. I'm going to have to go with the Dodgers. Yeah, upset. I think the third is my big question mark for the Phillies in their rotation. Who is the Game 3 starter? Or the Game 4 starter, my bad. Because Game 1 is probably going to be Chris Sanchez. 2 can be Ranger or Nola. And then 3 is either Ranger or Nola. They probably break it up righty or lefty, righty, lefty instead of going lefty, lefty, righty with Sanchez and Suarez. So they probably go with Sanchez, Nola, Suarez. But after that, if they had Zach Wheeler, this is a completely different team. But they do get Trey Turner back. How do I feel about that? Will he be fully healthy by the time he's back? I don't know. I think I'm going to have to take the Dodgers going to the CS. And I think I'm going to take the Brewers. Give me the Brewers to win one playoff series. Please. They've played great baseball this year. They're fundamentally sound. They don't hit a ton of tanks, which I know worries a lot of people. Understandably so. Especially when managers in the playoffs are quicker to pull starters. It's harder to chain together hits when the manager's like pulling the starter after 4. You know what I mean? And when bullpens are getting swapped, 3 batter minimum, yeah, you can get 3 hits. Doesn't always guarantee a run, A. And B, after those 3, he's coming out, It's much harder to string together hits in the playoffs because pitchers get swapped at the drop of a hat. But I got the Brewers. I think they have their guys healthy. You know what I mean? Yelich is there. Yelich wasn't in the playoffs. Or he might. I don't think he was, actually, because their DH was, bad last year, like Jake Bauers and shit. I think I'm going to take the Brewers, man. Brewers in the CS versus the Dodgers. Who wouldn't want to see that? Brewers Dodgers CS. What an ugly matchup. Brewers Dodgers in the CS. I don't want to take the Dodgers, man, but they just have the roster. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to pick the best team. I know they weren't the best team in terms of record-wise, but like talent-wise, they're paying $100 billion on their roster for a reason, man. There's talent there, and I don't want to admit it, but I think they're the best team in the National League, even though their bullpen is terrible, simply because they're going to be moving guys to the bullpen as well. What's his name's going to the bullpen? Glasnow, I think they said there is moving to the bullpen. Ohtani's going to pitch bullpen innings. Roki is now in the bullpen. I don't know. They're shoving starters back there because they're so desperate for innings from their bullpen with zeros in them, because their bullpen doesn't go an inning with a zero in it. I think with all the changes they've done recently, I'm going to have to go with the Dodgers to make the World Series against I'm going to take the Mariners. I've sat here, kind of thought it over, pondered it for a little bit. Why am I taking the Mariners? I think their rotation is just better. I do. I think their rotation just has better name value, talent, you know. I don't think the Mariners have even set their DS rotation yet because they're waiting for Brian Woo's results. And I think Woo's going to be okay, though. And plus, he gets a little bit of time off anyways between series. So I think that's what kind of gives me the edge, is the fact that they did win the division and they do get the bye. And the fact that, like, they get days off because of the bye. I don't know. I think I like that a little bit more. The rotation gets a little bit healthier. I don't like Toronto's rotation that much, especially like they were giving Max Scherzer big games. You can't throw Max Scherzer in the playoffs. You can't throw Meatball Max in 2025's playoffs, man. And even if Woo's not healthy, you're still talking about the Gilbert, Kirby, Castillo part of their rotation, which is still really good and has like one of the best home record or home ERAs in the bigs. They're just so good at home. They're hard to beat. I know they'll be on the road against Toronto, but I feel more confident in their rotation, and I think that their hitting is similar in a sense. They have guys who obviously hit tanks. You're talking about Vladdy and Cal. You're talking about they both have high average guys. Like, I wouldn't consider Julio an average guy, but he did hit for a decent average this year. But the Blue Jays are just a ton of high average guys. I don't mind either team, but I think I'm going to have to go with a Mariners-Dodgers World Series that I don't like. I think that's where the fun ends. I think I'm just going to say Dodgers repeat. I'm not wanting a Dodgers repeat, but I think we're staring at it because their rotation has come together like at the perfect time and at the point where they're moving starters into their bullpen to help out their bullpen more, and I think that's kind of going to be a small savior for them almost. Like I said, man, you're moving Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki, and other guys to the bullpen, and Emmett Sheehan I think is going to be a bullpen piece, and he was filthy down the stretch for them. Like, there's just they're doing stuff where it's like that's how much pitching depth they have. They are so deep pitching wise that they're sending Tyler Glasnow to the damn bullpen. I've broken down the playoffs. I would like to hear your guys' opinions. I'm just moving my face to have fun now. I would like to hear your guys' opinions down in the comments about who you think is going to win the World Series. I would like to talk about it down below. Give me a reason why your favorite team will win this World Series. If you've enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to catch the game. See you guys in the next one.